Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in for today's Facebook Live. So today I'm going to talk to you about getting the most out of assessment centres, and ultimately that means securing your training contract. I'll get to that in a second, but first I want to introduce myself if you haven't met me before. I'm Samantha Hope and I'm the Graduate Recruitment Manager at Shoosmiths. So I've worked here for about 8 years now, and that means I've seen around 16,000 applications in my time here, and around 800 candidates at our assessment centres over that 8 years. So I feel like I'll be able to share some good advice with you today. So do please ask us questions. You can type them into the comments throughout the video and we'll get to those shortly. So assessment days are actually one of my favourite times of the year because it means I get to really get to know you, and I may have met you at law fairs, insight evenings and other events in the lead up to the assessment centre. So it's an enjoyable time, though it is very busy, and that's why we want to give you a bit of an insight into assessment centres so you can make the most of the day. We film our Facebook Live videos really simply just on an iPhone, and I just want to check that you can hear us okay today because we are filming in a different room to usual. So just hit the laughing face for me and I'll be able to see that you can hear us and you're watching us okay. So today I'm joined by Danny and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself.
Hi everybody, I'm Danny Owens. I head up the recruitment team here at Shoosmiths. So like Sam, I've been here quite a while. Actually, I've been here 6 years, so probably not quite seen as many graduate candidates as Sam, but certainly have seen many. In my role, I head up all of the recruitment into the firm, so everything from school leaver apprenticeship programs right through to the training solicitor program, which I work on with Sam, through paralegal roles, business support roles, right up to partnership positions. So again, in that spectrum, we do an awful amount of interviews, lots of assessment centres, and hopefully you've got some useful experience that you can all draw on with lots of your questions.
Fab, thank you Danny. So that's enough from us. We want to know a little bit about you. So if you could just type into the comments where you're watching us from today. We're actually filming in our Birmingham office, which is in the city centre. It's on Colmore Square. It's a really fantastic office to be in, and I've been posting a lot of photos to our Instagram story today about around Birmingham office and around Birmingham. So take a look at the Instagram story after you've watched this video if you want to see a bit more of the office. Birmingham also is a great place to be filming today for the assessment centre advice, because this is actually where we hold all of our assessment centres. So regardless for which office you're applying to, you will come and attend an assessment centre here. Okay, so the other thing I want to mention just before we get going is if you've got any friends or colleagues that you think should be watching this to get some Shoosmiths assessment centre advice, then just tag them in the comments as well, and they can come and watch us live too. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the assessment centres and then we'll answer some of your questions. You can ask a question at any time, just type it into the comments, and I will jump on here after the live broadcast as well. So if you're watching this after the live session, you can still comment, we will still answer you. So an overview of the assessment centre then. So the deadline has now passed for the training contract application. I don't want to scare you, but we did receive over 1,600 applications, and that's in addition to people that had applied earlier in the year along with a VAC scheme as well. So it is a competitive process, as I'm sure you're aware. And we are currently screening the applications, so thank you for your patience if you are waiting for us to get back to you. We will be coming back to you with an outcome of your application by the 18th of July. We do come back to you by email regardless of whether you are successful or not at that application stage, so do keep checking your emails. We do find that sometimes the emails go into junk mail, so please do add us to the safe list as well to make sure that you are getting that email. That would be the worst thing, wouldn't it? Getting an invite to an assessment centre.
Finding out too late that you've missed the opportunity to put yourself on.
Yeah. Okay, so if you are successful, then you'll be invited to our assessment centre at the end of this month. So as I've said, that will be in Birmingham, and we run them between Wednesday the 25th and Saturday the 28th of July. So once you find out around the 18th of July, you've only got about a week or so to prepare. So it's great that you're watching this now and you're able to start that preparation time in case you're successful. In terms of preparing, you won't actually know who's interviewing you because we have a lot of assessors attend, ranging from partners, senior associates, our trainees and the recruitment team as well. And we tailor the day so that you're seen by a number of assessors through the day. So I'm afraid we can't tell you who's who's going to assess you, but you can, of course, look up through our website and on our social media to see who the partners are for the office you're applying to, and if you have a particular interest in any area of law. In terms of kind of logistics for getting here, so we are central Birmingham, so you'll probably come into New Street or you might be driving. We'll ask you not to arrive more than 15 minutes before your slot. And that's just because we're still running around getting everything ready in the morning, and we want it to be perfect when you walk in the door. So if you do arrive, there's a coffee shop downstairs, and you can take some time, read over your notes, have a breather before you come into the building. And also I think it's really important to mention that we do reimburse travel as well for our assessment centres. We want it to be an opportunity that you might be travelling far for, but that you still are able to attend, and the cost of that doesn't impact on whether you can attend or not. So please do remember that we do reimburse it, and I think that's a great thing. I think most firms do now. So before we go on with the overview, I just want to mention that one of our trainees, Sam, he actually wrote a blog post this week with loads of great tips about assessment centres from his point of view as going through it as a prospective trainee, and obviously now he's a trainee in the firm. That's on our careers blog, and I will post a link to that in the comments after this broadcast, so you can go and read that if you're interested in reading his point of view. So on the actual day for the assessment centre then, you are welcomed by our trainees and reception team when you arrive. You'll have an introduction talk by me in this very room that we're actually sat in today, and as you're all together, and it's a time for you to ask any questions about the logistics of the day, let us know how you're feeling. We'll give you obviously a bit more information about the exercises that you'll be taking part in. During the day, you'll have sort of 4 main exercises that you'll do: a group exercise, a written exercise, a presentation, an interview, and then you also will get some networking time in the morning and at lunchtime over lunch, and some special Q&A time with our trainees. So that's a chance to ask them really anything. It's not assessed, we're not in the room, it is just you and the trainees. And then at the end of the day, you'll get a little goodie bag to go away with. It's really important to us that you enjoy the day, and that your experience as a candidate is really good, because we want it to be part of your development going on into the legal industry, whether that's with us or with another firm. So it is really important that you enjoy the day, and I know that's tough because it's an assessment centre, but I think if you ask any of our trainees, I'm hoping that they say they did actually enjoy it. Hit that like button if you think that you should be enjoying this experience. So it is a full-on day, but like I said, enjoyable and hopefully really rewarding. We give full feedback over the phone to every single candidate that comes through our assessment centre, and again, we think that's really important as part of our candidate experience, so that you can, again, develop and learn from what you've been through. And we aim to let you know the outcome of your assessment centre within 1 to 2 weeks, but really it's within a few days of you attending. So that's an overview of the day. So now we're going to go on to a bit more information about the exercises.
Okay, thanks, Sam. So as part of a poll we ran on Facebook and Twitter before we did this Facebook Live today, we asked what are the areas that you're all most worried about with the assessment centre. As Sam said, we've got the 4 different types of exercises and things that happen on the day. I think the feedback we had from you was that the areas that give you the most concern or most worry are the written exercise and the presentation task. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about them today, but of course happy to answer any more questions at the end if they relate to either the group or the interview section of the day as well. So our written exercise is a 45-minute slot, and it's basically based on the idea of giving you a series of tasks or situations to deal with, or actions to process that would be similar to what you'd experience as a real trainee at Shoosmiths. So we're looking for you to go through lots of information that we might give you, and then to spend some time thinking about the answers that you'll give us back. There might be a section in there that involves summarising an earlier part of the day and perhaps some of the decisions that you've taken as maybe part of your group exercise or in any of the preparation tasks that you would have done beforehand. But there will also be a series of other exercises to complete. In terms of what to say in terms of preparation for that, I would encourage you to spend time reading all the exercises and actually making sure you work out, part of the test is to work out what's the most relevant bits of information, what bits do you need to be able to answer the questions. Make sure you proportion your time appropriately for the session, and that also do leave yourself 5 minutes at the end just to make sure you can read back over everything you've put down, check it for punctuation and spelling. It's such a shame when people lose marks down to incomplete punctuation or silly spelling mistakes that they probably have just got wrong because they're under time pressure. So in this exercise, we're testing various competencies, and they are reliability, pragmatism, and commercial awareness. But really what we're looking to test is your written communication style, your ability to work under pressure, to complete tasks in a time pressure situation, and to deliver really back what the client wants of you. Okay. Any more on the written?
No.
No? Good. Okay. In terms of the presentation topic, moving on to that now. In a slight sort of change this year, the presentation task is going to be set on the day. So you'll have a 5-minute presentation task to prepare on the day. We will give you time to prepare, so you'll have a chunk of the day which will be allocated for your preparation. But of course this means that you'll only really be limited to the notes that you've got from the day and the preparation that you've done before the exercise. You won't have any access to any text, so there's no sort of chance of using Google or using PowerPoint or anything like that. It will be very much a sort of a written-based presentation preparation section. The topic will be set based on the theme of the day. We always have a theme that sort of runs through all the exercises and links them together. We try to make it feel as real and as genuine as it can, and give you sort of an insight into what a trainee solicitor role would be like at Shoosmiths. So it's impossible to prepare the answer, but what you can spend your time doing is really researching the firm. Look at Shoosmiths' website, look at articles on our press release section, look at recent deals that we've done, look at other industry news and information that really try and boost your commercial awareness and boost your market knowledge of what it's like to work in the law firm in the commercial sectors at the moment. That will all help inform some of the information that you might need on that task. Another area to think about really is how you manage your time. So in such a time-pressured environment, again, you're going to have, say, 40 minutes to prepare this. How do you make sure you give yourself enough time to kind of be reading it through and to practice, but also think about how you actually keep to time when you are presenting, because it's only 5 minutes, and although that will feel like a long time at the start of the exercise, I'm sure it will go very quickly. The final point would be to maybe think about the sorts of questions that the assessors and your audience might ask you after you've delivered your presentation. Okay. In terms of competencies, we are looking to test your confidence, your commercial awareness, and also what we call technical expertise, so your ability to sort of deliver the technical solution to the task and to the problem. In terms of translating that for you, that means we're looking at, again, your ability to think on your feet, to deliver something confidently, to have presence, to own the messages and the communication that you're giving, and to answer the question that's posed, and to sort of make sure you give a commercial solution for the client or for the scenario.
I think one of the biggest things that we tend to see with presentations is how easy it is to overrun that time. Yeah. So if you are able to sort of time yourself and give yourself a bit of practice time as part of your preparation for the assessment centre, timing how 5 minutes actually feels, because we know just from doing our Facebook Live broadcast actually that we always aim for about 20 minutes, but our last 2 videos have gone on for 35. So once you get on a roll with talking, it's really easy to carry on. So yeah, that would be my...
And I think it's easy as well, because you can, when you've done all your research, there's lots of stuff you want to tell us, and actually part of the art of being really good and the best candidates that we see are the ones that can strip out the information that we already know and really focus on what's most relevant.
And being able to form your own opinion around that as well. So not just reciting the information that we give you, not just reciting Shoosmiths values and website and that sort of thing, but actually reading between the lines and understanding how that might apply to the task that you've been given. Okay, so I hope that gives you a bit of helpful advice on the written and also on the presentation. So we're going to take your questions and answer them in just a second. So if you've got a question that you'd like to ask us about assessment centres or any of the exercises or anything else, then just pop them in the comments now and I'll come on to those in just a second. So I hope that helped give you a picture of the overall day as well. And if it has, then can you just hit the love button for us, just so we know that that's given you enough information about the exercises. So I just wanted to say as well and reiterate about you enjoying the day and how important that is. But because for us, it means that you're actually going to shine you're going to show your personality in the best way that you can. And I think a lot of people think that assessment days are all about giving you a grilling and putting you really badly under pressure and seeing how you react in those situations. And yes, there are time pressures for the day, but we want to see the best of you, and we actually think if you're enjoying it, then we'll get the best out of you on the day. So we do try to make it feel like a realistic day, quite a tough, realistic day maybe in the life of a trainee or a solicitor at Shoosmiths. So think about in advance, really, what is a solicitor doing day to day? What is a trainee doing? And that will really help you picture how the day is going to go. So let's have a look at some of the questions you've asked us then. Just bear with me for a second while I bring that up. Just take a second to load in. So I don't think we've got any questions come through so far that I can see. So if you want to ask us a question about the assessment centres, then do just pop that in now. I'm just going to refresh my screen so that I make sure I'm not missing out on any of those questions. I feel like we're on a bit of a time delay today.
Maybe.
So one of the questions that has just come in from Sim is, can you give a brief example of what the group exercise will be? So Danny, do you want to tackle that?
So the group exercise, you'll be going into a group exercise. There'll be a series of actions that have happened or events that have occurred, and as a group you need to agree a way through that. When it comes to the group exercise, the point I would always say, I mean, it's impossible to prepare for because you won't know what the scenario is or the task is, but I guess the things to think about, if it is a form of preparation, is how you conduct yourself, how you get your point across, how you influence decisions, how you listen and collaborate, and these will be the sorts of areas that we'll be looking to score on or to sort of look for you to demonstrate evidence of.
Okay, fab. Okay, so I can see we've got more questions coming in, so thank you guys. I think we are on a bit of a delay. So Arjun has said, I've attended a mock assessment centre at the University of Law. There was a negotiation exercise and also a group exercise. Just wanted to find out more about the group exercise. So that's just come in while Danny was talking. So yeah, group exercise, an opportunity for you to demonstrate your collaboration skills, your communication skills. One of the biggest things I would say with the group exercise is talk.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really silly, but in the moment when you're in a group, so usually of about 7 or 8 candidates, you only have a short time to get through the information, and you might be thinking about it, but we can't assess you unless you're talking. So I'm not saying to talk non-stop, but obviously you want to be heard when you're making really important points. So don't forget that at the same time as making notes.
That is a really good point, actually, and every year when we make those feedback calls to candidates, the areas that sometimes do let candidates down are when they haven't contributed sufficiently in the group, and our assessors are quite trained to sort of keep a time record of how frequently someone speaks, which might sound quite strange, but actually it's really useful because you can see then the chunks of time, maybe 5 minutes go by and somebody hasn't actually said anything, and so do, as Sam said, do just make sure your contributions are heard rather than just in your own head.
Okay, so Christy has asked, outside of GDPR and Brexit, 2 massive topics, are there any other commercial events that you think candidates should be aware of? That's a really
good question.
Really tough one, yeah. So yeah, I think you should be aware of GDPR and Brexit. I mean, Brexit has been coming up now for a while, so, and GDPR we've been in the thick of this year. Yes. With the regulations coming in May, but absolutely you should understand how that impacts on a law firm and on solicitors and our clients.
Yeah, I mean, I think external to that, I guess it's looking at other factors that might influence markets. So what things might create a confident market, or actually a market that's lacking in confidence where our clients perhaps don't want to act or don't want to sort of pursue things that they might in a more buoyant, sort of happy, confident environment. So I can't think of anything off the top of my head, any such big things as say GDPR or Brexit. They are the sort of 2 that do come up quite commonly. But I mean, every year we ask topical questions and they can be on all sorts of things. So I would just encourage everyone to get really up to speed with what's happening in the news and what's happening in the press, so you can really try and follow and keep abreast of the issues that might be sort of pertinent to the day.
I guess one of the things that comes up quite a lot is technology and the use of technology in law firms, and particularly on a focus for the industry is on artificial intelligence at the moment. I keep reading loads about that on LinkedIn. And for us, I guess technology is really helping us It's helping us to reach you because we're using a different type of technology today that really not many people are using yet in this sector, I guess. But thinking about how that might benefit us and help us to provide our clients with a more efficient service would be a really good route to go down. And also, like Danny said, just reading the news, understanding what things are out there that could be impacting upon our clients as well, that would be really useful for you to do. So Chaz wants to know, what characteristics do we look for in the group exercise? So that's a really good question, because there's a lot of information on the internet about group exercises and what people expect you to, or how you're expected to behave. Should you be the leader? Should you be the note taker, the timekeeper? And I think, I don't know if I'd necessarily encourage you to take on a role.
I think it's, for me, it's more about understanding the dynamics of what makes a successful team. And ultimately, we're looking for the teams and the group in that task to complete the task, to reach a necessary decision, to have articulated reasons why, to have discussed and explored all the options. If you put it back in the context of being a trainee solicitor or being part of a legal team working on a deal or a transaction, you will constantly have to go into a room, face the other side, negotiate points, sometimes win points for your client, or know which ones you're happy to give away and to sort of not sort of fight for in the sake of getting the deal done. And so it's having an understanding of all of those behaviours and necessary skills to make that team dynamic work. It really doesn't matter if you assume the role of the leader or of the person that keeps the group to time or whatever. It's just about everybody pulling together to ensure that we do actually reach a satisfactory conclusion and a successful one at the end of the day.
Yeah, perfect. And your role will always change depending on what type of team you're in and the other people in the team. So you can't really prepare for the type of person you want to be, aside from really just being yourself and being able to navigate the other personalities. Thank you for all your questions. They're all coming in now. We can see them, which is great. Megan wants to know, will this video be available to watch again later? Yes, of course it will be. So as soon as we finish this live broadcast, it will then republish onto our Shoosmiths page on Facebook, and we will also get it posted onto our YouTube channel as well, which is Shoosmiths Video. So you can watch it later. You will be able to share it then at that point, and if you want to go back through our tips and listen to us again, I don't know if you do, then you can. So Vicky has asked, what is the style or format of the interview? Is it more situational or personality based? So our interview will last for around 40 minutes, and it is really based on experiences that you've had. So it's a competency based interview where you will have to demonstrate the skills and qualities that you've got within experiences that you've had. So in terms of preparing for that, obviously think about the skills and qualities that you've got and what situations you've been in, what experiences you've been in, and who you've been in those experiences with, and how your behaviour or their behaviour has impacted upon the situation. And I think trying to think of the best person you are, your best personality traits, and getting those across in the interview as well. It's with two assessors, so it is an interview, but you know, it should form a bit of a conversation and work both ways as well, where you're able to ask questions and understand a bit more about your interviewers and about the firm too.
Yeah, there's always absolutely time for you to ask questions at the end. The other thing I'd encourage you to think about is what type of skills or competencies we might need to see of you to be a trainee solicitor at Shoosmiths, and that will hopefully give you some ideas on what sort of areas to be preparing for.
Yeah. So Callum has asked, hi Callum, so Callum has watched all of our videos now and asked some questions. What kind of topics will be picked for the presentation exercise and who will be our audience? So we can't give too much away.
Sorry, Callum. No, we can't give you the presentation topic or tell you too much more about that. It will be based on the activities that you will do earlier in the day. So there is a theme through the event and through the day, and the task will be part of the earlier preparation that you would have done.
And
sorry. In terms of who, it will actually be part of your interview session. So you will present to two people in the interview room as part of the beginning part of your interview, really.
Yeah, perfect. And so Chloe wants to know how many people in the group exercise. So there'll be about 7 or 8 candidates in the group exercise and about 7 or 8 assessors around the room as well. Damon has asked how many candidates are invited to the assessment days and what number are successful. So we will see around 100 candidates over 4 assessment centres or assessment days. So there'll be around 25 candidates per day, and we have around 25 vacancies available, so that's split across our offices, and we also have a couple of different years available as well. So the vast majority of vacancies are for 2020 starting, but we do have in Leeds, for example, a 2018 and a 2019 vacancy also. And we will give you the exact numbers on the morning of your assessment centre, so you know what they are. So Georgie has asked, how are the written exercises marked in light of learning difficulties such as dyslexia? Really good question, Georgie. So we will ask all of our candidates whether there's anything that they want taken into consideration in terms of the assessment process. And if there is, you can raise that with us before you come to the assessment centre, and we will do our best to make the adjustments that are required for you. So in terms of if you've had exams at university where you've been allowed extra time, for example, then that's something we will take into account, and we will be able to provide you with extra time in the written exercise.
Yeah, I mean, there's been different things that we've done over the past. It might be printing paperwork on different colour paper. It might be using a large font. I guess we're relying really on you telling us sort of what support you need and what sort of adjustments we can then try and make to support you through that. Yeah,
so there's an open conversation. Just let us know if you are invited, and we'll be able to talk through that with you. So let's see, who have we got here? We've got Luciella, which is a really unusual name. Love that name, it's a bit different. She wants to know, we mentioned the theme of the day. So are the group exercise, written and interview all related? Yeah, so we always have a theme of the day that runs through the exercises, and you will be given some time in the morning to prepare, some quiet time where you're able to read through some information. In the past, the theme of the day has been around a client service scenario, obviously as Shoosmiths being the lawyers or the law firm, so your knowledge about Shoosmiths and how we go about acting for our clients will be really important in giving you that background information for the day. Yeah. Is there anything you want to add?
I don't think so really. I mean, no, as Sam said, we change it every year, so there's different topics and different themes that we explore every year, but often they have been either, maybe there's been a CR project or a client service related project, or something. I think one year we looked at why we had won a legal business award. Another one just behind us here, we're very excited about, but no, that's not the theme. So different things like that we've picked, but it's different every year, and so yeah, I think as Sam said, you just prepare your general information about Shoosmiths, and what you know and what you like about us will certainly help you on the day.
Yeah, and that's not to say though that if you feel like you did badly in one exercise that it'll impact the whole day. That's not really the case. So yes, the theme flows, but you can still pull it back if you come out of an exercise feeling like it went bad. And I think sometimes if you feel an exercise went bad, actually it's the opposite. Yeah. I've heard from some of our trainees who said like they really feel like they flunked the interview, for example, but actually they then found out that was the best part of their day, so, or the most highly scored part. So don't let it affect the rest of your exercises.
And I think we're looking for well-rounded people at the end of the day. We're not looking for a series of clones or people that can really do well in an interview but nothing else. I mean, that's why we have these different exercises to test the different types of skills that we need for trainee solicitors. So there absolutely will be areas that you're stronger in than others, but don't be sort of worried or put off by that.
Arjun has said he appreciates that it's important to be aware of the topics that affect the legal industry, like we've talked about, but how do these actually matter on an assessment day, and how, if we're testing your ability to work in a team, etc., how do current affairs play a role? So that's a really interesting question. So I guess it will really help you to understanding legal affairs and things that are going on in the market and just generally in the news at the time are going to help your knowledge in terms of the task that we set on the day. So it will be your background information in terms of what you're talking about in the task and in the group exercise. And as Danny mentioned, in the interview we do ask a topical question as well. So we're really looking for you to be able to understand something that's happening out there in the news and be able to form an opinion about it. on your feet in the interview, I guess.
And I think also to think about why that would be relevant to a law firm. We're looking for people that understand the business of legal services as well as just sort of hitting some of the competencies. And I guess that's where some of that kind of commercial awareness comes in. It's about understanding what's relevant for our clients so we can advise them better. So similarly, we'll look for the similar sorts of skills and we'll test those at the interview in the same way.
Fab. So we've got loads more questions coming in, which I can see, which is amazing. We're just about onto our time here today. So we'll get through as many as we can now. But if there's any that I missed, then we will come back and comment and answer you after the broadcast. So Maria, there are 4 assessment days, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. So when you're invited, you'll be invited to 2 of them and you will choose the one that's your preference because we assess candidates for the same offices on particular days. That's why we do that.
Yeah, so for example, if you wanted to apply to the Birmingham office, then we might offer you either Friday or Saturday because those are the Birmingham days. If you wanted to come for a Reading opportunity, it might be Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, and all that information will be emailed to you. Should the written exercise follow a specific structure? And that question's come in from Andrea. So it will be a mix of tasks in the written exercise in the same way that your day as a trainee would go. So in terms of structure, I guess if you're thinking about perhaps a format to an email or replying to a letter or something like that, then the structure should be what you'd expect an email to be.
Partly the structure will depend on the task, and actually it's a judgment call for you to make the decision on what's the appropriate structure. Either is it formal, is it about speed, is it about getting information across quickly where bullet points might be relevant. You'll answer this on like a Word-based template, so you'll have access to all the usual kind of Word things like bullet points and everything. So it should be something that you can kind of make that decision on during the day.
And we've got Miss Barr has asked, what are the common mistakes that you see in the written exercise? So
Spelling.
Yeah, spelling and grammar. I mean, it's under time pressure, so we understand that you want to get the information down, but do absolutely structure your time so that you have time to review it at the end, because in the same way with applications, we really can't see those mistakes. We don't want to see them, so you have to make sure that spelling and grammar.
I think quality is really important in a law firm, and you can't be sending things out that are inaccurate or incorrect or have errors all over them. Clients just wouldn't pay for that kind of advice, so accuracy and attention to detail really important.
Yeah.
I think also being mindful of how many tasks there are and how you manage your time to make sure you finish. Sometimes we do get to situations where you can see like someone's been writing and they've run out of time and they've not been able to finish off that detail properly.
Yes, so structuring your time and making sure you're able to answer all of the questions, I think. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so that's our time up, guys. So any questions that we have missed, we will come back to you. And if you're watching this after the live broadcast, of course, ask a question and we will comment and answer that for you. We're going to do broadcast every kind of 2 weeks. So have a look on our events page on Facebook and you'll be able to see what topics we're covering in the coming months and sign up to the ones that you are interested in. We've got quite a few guest speakers coming up. Yeah. We will be speaking with a couple of people that are external to our business. So Chris White, the founder of Aspiring Solicitors, has agreed to sit down and be grilled by us. And also a couple of other people that are really exciting in the pipeline as well. And then we'll be hearing from some internal people that work for Shoosmiths as well. So I think there's a lot coming up. So do come and check out our events. And if there's something that you'd like us to talk about specifically, or somebody that you'd like us to interview or get on the live videos, then just pop that in the comments. We will take that into account. And if you've written it on here, we can show them. This person wants to see you talk, and we can get them in for the video. So if you've enjoyed watching us on Facebook Live today, give us some feedback. Just hit the love sign or the wow emoji or any of those emojis and just let us know that you've enjoyed us chatting. Show us some love, basically. I want to do just a quick shout out to some of our supporters who have really kindly shared this across their own Facebook pages or Twitter. And if you want to share this out now on your own page, we would be so grateful. If you do, we'll just give you a shout out in the comments once we've finished as well. Just to give you a shout out, I guess. So thanks for watching.
Thank you very much.
Be sure to head over to that Facebook page and sign up to our future events. And as a reminder, if you've applied for a training contract, we'll be emailing you very soon to let you know the outcome of your application. I hope this has been useful. Anything you want to add, Danny?
No, just really looking forward to meeting hopefully many of you at the assessment centres at the end of July. It really is the highlight of our graduate recruitment year, as Sam said, so really looking forward to seeing you all there. Best of luck.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody.